tell me about which pieces are yours here?
That was straight to the point. But you can see it. Here, these are my two pieces. There's another one there. There, yes. And then what I brought is a full figure drawing, a portrait, and a detailed study of the sexual organ of the male. But in a way, this had the same treatment because I wanted to show that it's just exactly the same.
So tell me what's the same. What do you mean by the same treatment?
The same treatment of it's an ink drawing with a bit of gold gouache, pen and ink.
Okay. And showing that they're the same means what?
It means the same that I just wanted to consider what life drawing has an edge, which got a very strong, the nudity can have sometimes a very strong sexual kind of a projection.
Yeah.
And but that's mostly made by the viewer, not necessarily by the artist.
Because for the artist, the object is not sexual.
It can be, but when you're drawing and you're concentrated, you can draw a hand, you can draw a portrait, you can draw a full figure, you can draw the sexual organ. It can become perfectly all an exercise in which you draw with your technique and your.
So if it's an exercise and it's a technique, well, if it's an exercise, does it come down to technique only, or is there something about a kind of an engagement with what you're drawing?
No, there's always an engagement, but the engagement has to be created through a process, and that's where the technique comes into place. It's like writing; you have to think, and then you cannot create art without having a technique. It could be painting, it could be drawing, ink, watercolors, and how you use it varies. But it becomes your expression.
So when it becomes an expression, I'm wondering, because I think about this more of writing, I guess, is it when you almost let go of, you have technique, but you also let go of it? Is there that fine balance between control and the absence of it? But just
yes, I can see that it's when it is not forced, because is your language. It becomes your tools. Like a public speaker can speak publicly without having to think or doubt, or a very well kind of versed writer can write, can put together a poem or a book, and researching about the story, but doesn't have to think so much in the style, and the grammar, which is the words, how the vocabulary works, how the structure of the sentences, because you've done it so many times. The music composition, composer can play an instrument, but playing, but then you force is so difficult to the first time. But once you know how to play an instrument, then you can focus on the music.
So in terms of your toolkit, if we can call it that, from what is that assembled? How have you put that together from different experiences and contexts?
Well, that was my tools, the physical tools.
Well, the physical tools, but also your technique. If you can think of that as a kind of toolkit that's in your body.
Okay, but that goes together, the tools and the technique, because at the end of the day there is a link between your tools and your hands and your brain. So you have to understand how a pen, how a brush falls in your hand, and it touches the surface that's going to turn into an image or a sculpture. So, well, I suppose as an architect, my training is line drawing, and then drawing with draw trains with old-fashioned fine liners, in which you just let the drop, practically the pressure of the pen into the paper, and you just let it run over the paper. It's a very soft, no pressure, no rubbing there. So I think that possibly you learn to do that, and then you take it forward to use it with thicker pens, with more expression. So it's quite good when you just play it. So I think I would say that could be very much tools work with the paper and with my brain and with the muscles. And then also I use a bit of the Illustrator technique, in which you draw in pen first, pencil, and then I draw over in ink. But that's a common, any painter does that. Often they do that too. They have to set up.
Yeah, I was wondering about these. So that's a very definite line.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if that is just, is that a line over a pencil?
It's a line over a pencil because you need a structure. You need to.
Okay.
You need a kind of confirmation or reaffirmation where your traces are going to go over, because there is no turning back.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Once you put the ink, that's so it's not like paints. You can paint over in ink, where it goes, stays. So that instant trace that you need some kind of.
So with the pencil, is there a lot of rubbing out and rethinking?
No, not much. And lately I'd even let it on rather than rubbing it, so you can read the two layers.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's interesting.